Scouts of the USA.
Hey, wait a minute, guys, that's my job.
Would you like to buy some cookies?
Well, of course, how can I resist, but I don't have any money. Can you lend me some?
Sure.
All right, what kind of cookies have you got there?
Tag-alongs.
Tag-alongs, are these your favorite
Yeah.
or your favorite? And where are you guys all from?
Nassau County.
Nassau County. What's your favorite?
My favorite are Samoas.
Samoa's tasty.
Mine are Samoas too.
What about you?
Mine are Thin Mints.
Thin Mint, you and me, we have to stick together. Those are my favorites too. I like them cold, frozen in the refrigerator. All right, we're gonna come back to you guys in just a moment, but I want you to know I learned my own I got my own badge of honor the other day. I got to learn how to tie a tie. We learned the very complicated Windsor knot. I don't know, do you guys have a badge for tie tying? Maybe you can make one up for me, but let's take a look.
Typically, you wear a Windsor knot when you're going to a more professional setting, an interview, a boardroom. It really speaks to more confidence and power. Step 1, proper positioning. With the Windsor tie, you normally like to have the wider side of the tie a little bit longer than normal, so you have a little bit of wiggle room when you are creating this much thicker, more prominent knot. Number 2, the pull and tuck. You take the wider side of the tie, wrap it around the more narrow side and up through the proposed knot. Number 3, the big wrap. You take the wider side of the tie that's already down, you wrap it all the way around the proposed knot and prepare to pull it again. Number 4, the insert. So you take the wider side of the tie and pull it up and through the knot. Number 5, the triangle pull and tighten with both hands. Above the knot, you pull the tie to create the perfect triangle. It's a thicker knot than normal. You tighten it and then you pull it up by holding on to the more narrow side of the tie until it reaches your collar.
All right, the pressure is on. I'm gonna leave this a little bit longer.
Yes.
This is the Windsor, the
Yep.
fancier one. So I'm bringing this around. The first thing I'm do though is bring it up and through. How's it feel?
Beautiful.
All right, see, that wasn't so hard. Now, what do you guys think? Do I deserve a badge for my tie tying?
Yes.
I love the Girl Scouts. All right, and you know, I can't even imagine a springtime where I don't have your cookies in my closets, my Thin Mints stuffed in the freezer. We've got Andrea Bastiani Archibald. She's developmental psychologist for Girl Scouts of the USA. How did this tradition of cookie selling even begin?
Started almost 100 years ago, 1917. Our founder, Juliet Gordon Lowe, gathered with girls in kitchens and they baked their own cookies, wrapped them in wax paper to sell to support their leadership activities in their communities.
So actually, the Girl Scouts had to bake the cookies in the beginning?
They had to bake them,
Man,
yes.
you guys are getting off easy now. All right, this is my producer Marshall Crook's favorite segment because the guy is obsessed with pomegranates, aren't you, Marshall? Yeah, you are. Anyway, Gail Monahan, she's going to show us how to de-seed a pomegranate. I think they already did it here in this palm. Anyway, check it out. All right, here you go.
They're great in salads. They're beautiful if you make kind of a glaze with pomegranate molasses. One of my favorite foods in the world are pomegranate seeds. This is a pomegranate that's been cut open. Really, the whole inside are seeds, and they're beautiful and they're full of antioxidants. They're one of the healthiest foods in the world. But I used to shy away from them because they were so hard to get the seeds out of, and it was all such a mess. I figured out this way that is almost foolproof and almost messless. So what you do is you've got your pomegranate, you've cut it in half. This is a bowl full of water. You put your hands under the water, you move it around. You might want to just do a little piece of it at a time. The seeds fall right out into the water. Okay, so you do that and you do that and you do that with the whole pomegranate. I mean, honestly, you can also buy pomegranates de-seeded, and you can buy the seeds in little packs, but then you have to use them right away. Whereas if you buy a whole pomegranate, like you can have them in your refrigerator for a month or two, if they're whole and not cut into, so you can have fabulous pomegranate seeds whenever you want them. Okay, so this is what this looks like. You've got all this strange white cartilage or whatever it is, comes to the top. You can take a strainer, you can get most of it out. So you have your strainer. Put it over a bowl or over the sink, and you just pour the pomegranate seeds into the strainer. You shake it around. You get as much water out of it as possible. If you're going to use it right away in a salad, you might want to dry them. However, you don't want to put it in a towel you care a whole lot about, because in this case you may get a little pomegranate juice on the towel. Okay, and so you dry them up a little bit, and then you put them in a bowl. Okay, and there they are. Look how beautiful they are. And delicious. They're really good.
All right, so I don't see the Girl Scouts anywhere around, which means we can talk whiskey for a minute. Now, our professional wanderer, Jeff Bush, he's actually right there behind the camera. Say hi, Jeff. Hi. All right, he went around. He found 3 tips on how to pick the best Irish whiskey. And while we listen, the truth is, I'm going to tell you, my producer, Marshall Crook, pomegranates aren't his favorite drink.
St. Patrick's Day, the one day of the year when everyone's Irish. But before you get lost in a haze of Kiss Me I'm Irish t-shirts and pints of green beer, why not think outside the box, as my producer would put it, and find a different, classier way to honor the true spirit of Ireland?
Honestly, I don't know of any self-respecting Irishman that would drink a sweetened cocktail with Irish whiskey, or God forbid, green beer. I think it's odd that on St. Patrick's Day we don't think of the one undisputed gift that the Irish gave to the world: whiskey.
But who knows what to look for? Tom Macy knows, and he's going to tell us the top 3 things to look for in an Irish whiskey.
What is it about Irish whiskey? I mean, can you go into a little bit about the history or about how it's made?
It's a lot lighter and smoother than a lot of other whiskeys. And
So, I mean, compare it to Scotch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Scotch has its trademark smokiness. I think that, you know, in terms of whiskey drinkers, often Irish whiskey is a more introductory whiskey. People often sort of get in, that's like your ground floor because it's more drinkable. I think that's another reason why Irish whiskey is so popular, is that it is less aggressive and more drinkable.
Do you mix with it? Or?
I think that you can use you know, a little like water here and there to open it up. You know, if you add dilution, water or ice, which will melt and add dilution, it stretches out all those flavors. There's so much packed in there.
If I were a neophyte whiskey drinker, and I came to you as a bartender and I said, I want to try an authentic, true Irish whiskey for St. Patrick's Day, what would be your 3 words of advice for me?
There's pure pot still, which is unmalted barley and malted barley, and it's distilled in a pot still, twice distilled in pot still, or perhaps more. I find that the pure pot still is the most traditional. It's the most flavorful and enjoyable to me. Then you're looking at what is in the barrel, or what the barrel is they're using to age it.
In Ireland, there is no law regulating what type of barrel the whiskey's aged in.
They often use Madeira barrels, which is a fortified wine, port, and a lot of sometimes the bottles will tell you what barrel it's aged in, but not often. So sometimes you have to do a little digging. Right. If your bartender knows his stuff, maybe he'll be able to tell you. My 3rd tip is how long it's spent in that barrel.
The aging.
The aging. People often think that, you know, an 18-year-old whiskey is going to be better than a 10-year-old whiskey. Right. I mean, the price certainly would suggest that. And it goes on personal preference, of course, but I believe that's just not true. I think that sometimes when whiskeys spend such a long time in wood that they end up tasting more like wood than they do whiskey. What I've found, the Irish whiskeys I've enjoyed the most have usually spent between like 8 and 12 years in a barrel.
Now, I could go on and on about the details of peated single malts or continuously distilled blends, double or even triple distilling. But when you're celebrating St. Patrick's Day, does any of that really matter?
We have a lot of people on St. Patrick's Day that are, you know, the one day of the year where everybody seems to be Irish.
Yeah, right.
And I think Americans have taken, and Irish for that matter, have taken it you know, as a holiday to express your Irishness.
Yeah, I think that
mass consumption of alcohol.
I think it is funny how a lot of other cultural holidays that we've embraced are all sort of based around drinking.
And we just turn them into drinking holidays.
Yeah, right.
So this St. Patrick's Day, forget the amateurs and the green beer and celebrate the spirit of Ireland with the good stuff, the real stuff, the amber liquid that is the very essence of the country itself.
I think that on St. Patrick's Day, there's no better way to do it than with a nice glass of Irish whiskey.
To Ireland.
To Ireland. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that is good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Much, much better than green beer.
All right, and spring break is no longer just for kids in Cancun anymore. It's also for adults. Like my friend Simon Constable here, who anchors the News Hub. Very nice goggles you've got there. And we have a few tips for grown-up spring breaks from our own Kelli Grant. You got a pair of those I can borrow?
Ah, spring break, warm weather, days on the beach, and if you pick the wrong destination, crowds of partying college students wherever you turn. Adults in the mood for a getaway still have plenty of options that involve all the good bits of spring break, including the low prices. Travel experts suggest these locales for deals that don't appeal to the college set. Orlando. College students may take over Florida's beaches, but Orlando theme parks are still families' domain. If you can avoid traveling over Easter, airfares are competitive and hotels are cheap. Rates at the 4-star Wyndham Orlando start at $79 a night, a 30% discount. And Expedia has 2-night hotel and air packages from New York starting at $400 per person. Ecuador. Hotwire.com suggests sneaking in before peak season rates kick in May. Right now, an 8-day package to enjoy the country's beaches and rainforests runs $1,200 to $1,300. That's about $500 less than it will in just a few weeks, but it's still too expensive for students. It's the end of rainy season though, so don't expect non-stop beach lounging. Hawaii. Hawaii isn't cheap in comparison to other spring break deals, but airfares that can top $500 from Los Angeles weed out students. Plus, travelers see the beginning of shoulder season deals this month. Travelzoo has half-off rates at Turtle Bay Resort, and Travelocity lists air and hotel packages discounted at 35%. Travelers looking for deals rather than warmer temperatures might look to ski resorts in Vail, Tahoe, and other areas. Many still have snow, along with much cheaper off-peak rates.
And we are back here with our scouts. Now, I lost track of you guys for a little while. Where'd you go? Were you trying to sell cookies to the editors at the Journal? Yes, I think so. All right, now before we head out, Andrea, tell me, what is Year of the Girl?
We have proclaimed our 100th anniversary Year of the Girl, and we've just launched the largest and boldest advocacy and fundraising effort in our nation's history on behalf of girls. It's called To Get Her There. People can learn more at togetherthere.org. Our goal is urgent and ambitious. We want to change the leadership landscape for girls and women in one generation.
And you guys have certainly sold a lot of cookies over the last 100 years now. I think maybe we could sell a few more. What do you think? We should go upstairs here at News Corp and find Rupert Murdoch. He owns this company. See if he'll buy a few boxes or a few thousand. Good idea? Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea. All right, that is it for today's WSJ Off Duty. I hope you'll click above to subscribe. Join me on Facebook and Twitter, and I'll see you back here tomorrow if I'm not in a cookie coma. Do you guys want to say bye? Bye, cookie.